Namaste everyone here at BookTube. Welcome to my channel Hamsavahini Vajra Astra. I'm Ohana. Before I begin, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I would also like to apologize for all the background noise that you are about to hear during the course of this video, and that is because I'm actually sitting in my terrace and it's festive mood, party mood, relatives coming in and pouring in from everywhere in all the houses. I stay in a residential area, so the noise will be worse if I go to any of my rooms, so therefore I chose a relatively quieter spot, and of course there's party music going on everywhere, so I hope you'll be able to bear with me and I'll try to keep up with my voice volume. So let me get down to what this video is all about. This video is all about my very late wrap-up for Victober. Now, Victober commenced from the 1st of October 2020 and continued till the 31st of October 2020, and this had been created by Katie from Books and Things, and it was co-hosted this year by Lucy from Lucythereader and Kate from Kate Howe. I've posted a link to the announcement videos in the description box below for you to check. Now, there were a set of about 5 to 6 challenges along with a Stitchathon challenge, which I also participated in, and the first challenge was Katie's challenge, which was to read a Victorian book which equated to our favorite modern genre. So my favorite modern genre is science fiction, so I chose to read Frankenstein Dreams, which had been compiled by Michael Sims, and it's a connoisseurs collection for the best Victorian science fiction. And honestly speaking, I really enjoyed reading this book, and it's got its elements of surprise. It's also got its elements of comic imagination, because science fiction was a term which evolved during the Victorian age, and it was coined within the British community. Originally it was summed up or known generally as natural science. So I have posted a link to a video which I did on the evolution of the term natural science to science fiction in a Victorian ensemble, so you definitely can check that and enjoy it. It has been done in the spirit of the Victorian age, and of course my ensemble is not too close to the Victorian age, but I've tried my best to keep up. Now, this particular book is all about science fiction novels which had been written, and we only have abstracts of those novels, the main plots and the twists and the turns, which are written and amalgamated in this beautiful collection. So anyone who's interested in knowing more about the Victorian science fiction or wants to read about the various stories so that they can go further to collect the actual novel which was published, definitely please do check out this book. Now, the next challenge was Lucy's challenge, which was to read a Victorian diary or Victorian letters. So I had read 2 Victorian diaries and 1 set of Victorian letters, which I stumbled on later. So I have posted a link to this particular challenge, which I had done separately, in the description box below. But just to just for the wrap up and for the mention, I had first read Aunt Eb's diary, which was a collection of a Victorian housewife's life, as well as instruction guide. It was an encyclopedic instruction guide. I do really apologize, that's my phone. So it's a Victorian lady's instruction guide as to how to run the house and what to believe in, what traditions to follow, etc. So initially this was a little boring, but later on it got very interesting, especially when the folklore came into the picture, and there were old wives' tales which were mentioned over here as well. So there's a lot of things which were going on in this particular diary, and it's been really very well compiled. Now, the next diary which I read was an abstract from Florence Nightingale's diary. Florence Nightingale was one of the most prestigious and popular women of the Victorian age, and she was also known as or she was also lovingly known as the second Queen of England. And this is a collection of her thoughts and opinions which she had penned down, and it's been compiled under the name Cassandra, and it was written during her period of struggle to convince her mother, who was a pillar in her life, and her father that she should be allowed to work professionally because she did not want to settle down. She wanted to dedicate her life towards God's work, and nursing was her calling. So she did want to elevate the status of nursing and structure it in order to ensure that it was God's work which she was doing. So everything with regards to Victorian women, their perspectives, and what sort of individuals were coming or what sort of individuals England was progressing towards, which were two kinds. One who wanted to be with the society, and the other who wanted to evolve the society. So she wanted to be of the second part, where she wanted to contribute to elevating the I would say the quality of the society, etc. So this is something which is mentioned in this book, and it's been very beautifully written, and I have mentioned a lot of what's been written in this book in another video, which I have also posted a link, so you definitely can check. It's a two-part video, of course. The other letter which I read was W.S. Lambert's letters, which he had written. W.S. Lambert had joined the Royal Navy as a sea cadet when he was very young, and he retired at a very early age of approximately 41 or 42, and his correspondence letters from the ships which he worked in and he trained in have all been assembled together, and it gives a course of the of his career in the Royal Navy, as well as it gives a very good and solid outlook of the progress which Royal Navy was making during that age, because it was an age of scientific evolution. There were lots of discoveries. There was also wars which were happening. So Royal Navy had to upgrade its ships and the artillery sections and the ammunition sections, etc. Ships had to be rebuilt so that they could fit the structures, etc. So this all had been written, because every time Lambert came back and he was posted to another ship, then obviously he had to take another course to learn what new ammunitions were set and what were the new navigational patterns which were set out, and the technology which was being rebuilt, etc. So it was a very, very interesting read, and I definitely enjoyed that book a lot, and it did inspire me to read further into the course of history of Royal Navy, which I'd be doing in 2021. Now the next challenge was Kate's challenge, which was to read a book by a favorite Victorian author. Now I have lots of Victorian authors who are my favorites, and I can't really decide to pick on one, but I do really have a special place for nature writers, or those who write about nature, or who write about the beauty of nature. So I had chosen to read a very beautiful collection of such stories, which was coined under Victorian fairy tales. Now Victorian fairy tales has been edited by Michael Newton, and it is a collection of all the children stories which were written for the Victorian child, and there's a lot which is spoken as well with regards to training of the psychology of the Victorian mind from a very young age, and I really enjoyed reading this book. Unfortunately, I could not complete the last few stories because I could not, get to them at all. So I wouldn't DNF this book because I have read a lot, but then yes, I enjoyed it a lot, but few stories I could not complete. But I am happy to reread this story, because fairy tales are something which I really enjoy, and I'm happy to read this again, or reread this again in 2021. So there's a lot which is spoken. Nature and its imaginative denizens are also spoken of, and there's a lot of I would say fantastic and fantasy world character building over here, but each teaches a moral lesson. So these are very, very important, and I believe that a lot of the Victorian mindset training starts happening from these fairy tales. So that was something which I really enjoyed. The next challenge was the Reader's Challenge. Now, in the Reader's Challenge, we had to read a book which we could not complete in the previous Victober challenge. Unfortunately, I was not there last year on BookTube, so I'm very new to BookTube. So I had originally chosen to read Victor Hugo's Notre Dame de Paris, or The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I had never read Victor Hugo's work, and I really wanted to read this because this was a gothic fiction. So I did include this in my TBR, but as you can see, I barely got through 45 pages of this, and it was really terrible. I closed this book, discarded it, and I picked up another interesting book which I stumbled across later in the mid of October, which was the Penguin book of Victorian Women in Crime, which has again been edited by Michael Sims. This is a collection of all those forgotten stories of women who were resolving crime, written in fiction form. So it gives a very I would say different outlook of what plight the Victorian women faced in order to resolve crime cases, rubbing their shoulders with that of men, especially on the intellectual field, and how they had to go to any lengths to prove that their spoken word and the revealed action were the same. Which means that, for example, if we have a male detective, if he concludes something as or concludes I would say the navigation of the case in a few words, thinking or portraying this as a logical deduction, if a woman does so, she has to present a proof. So this is something which was there all along. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. This was there, I'll rephrase that. This was there something which, okay, I'll rephrase that again. This was a main attribute which was present all along in this book, and it was really fascinating reading about this. In fact, I found this a little, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but I did find this better than Sherlock Holmes. So Sherlock Holmes is all about observance and deducing and logical decisions and conclusions, etc. But this was all about taking an intense step, losing out your sense of security and going into the unknowns, being bold, stepping out of your skin, and to resolve the case and to catch the culprit red-handed. So this was something which I really enjoyed, and this was for my readers challenge, and of course I DNF'd this book. I could not get around after 45 pages. Now the group read for this was Shirley, which had been written by Charlotte Bronte, and honestly speaking, I was short of time. I could only get through 3 chapters, and that is it, because I did not really follow the schedule which was written for this particular book, and I lagged behind, and I could only complete 3 chapters. So this group read was definitely a DNF for me, but the 3 chapters which I read was definitely enjoyable, and I will be reading Shirley definitely next year in 2021. Now there was also a Stitchathon challenge which had been hosted by Kate, and it was called Starcrossedstitchers, and of course I will try to link or I'll try to upload or attach the vlogs which I'd done. I'd done a regular stitching vlog. Of course, you will only find 3, but then there was a time when I was trying to stitch as well and listen to Thomas Hardy's 2 from Tower. Now, I have not listened to more than 5 or 6 chapters, and that's because there were only a few days that I managed to complete in the month of October, and I could not get back to my stitching in the month of November or December. So I hope I'll be able to get back to stitching and listening to another audiobook, and I will post a link to the progress which I made in the subsequent I would say the subsequent attachments that I make from this vlog, so you will find it later on in this video. So those were the books which I read for Victober, and I do really apologize again. It's a very late wrap up and I could not finish much, and I was not very happy that I could not finish Victor Hugo, but yes, that was how it all went, and I hope that I'll be able to do better next year when Victober is hosted by Katie and others. So thank you so much, Katie and Lucy and Kate, for hosting this particular Readathon. I enjoyed reading Victorian literature. I discovered a lot, and I hope I'll be able to read further on in 2021. So I'll be looking forward to participating in Victober or any Victorian related readathons which you host later on in 2021. So with that, I will thank you for joining me today in this video and bearing with all the noise that you hear in the background. And I wish you a very happy Christmas and a good year ahead. And thank you so much for joining me. Have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.